I've just got Johnny cocktails, you know. So this is gonna go great.
This guy.
So it was just a little difficult.
And what was Lauren Bacall like? That's so cool.
Spectacular. She kept thinking that the prop truck was a shopping spree, that she could just go in there and say, I love this watch. This mug is for sale, I'm taking it. And she just went through and they said, no, Lauren, these are props. And she goes, I don't care. You know who I am. And she just took a bag and just, went to town.
What about Mr. Adam Sandler?
Sandler did not go on the prop truck. No, I knew Sandman from knowing Farley and Spade.
Yeah.
I would just bump into him at parties and things and restaurants. And then he saw Nutty Professor and called me and said, that's some funny fucking shit. Yeah. And are we allowed to say that?
That's
fine. It's fine.
It's okay. For fun.
Sorry. And so that led to, hey, Jack Nicholson is a little picky about, who we hired to direct Anger Management.
Yeah.
But you got a check by your name, so come on in and let's talk. And so that led to the next 3 movies.
Wow.
That was great.
And what was Eddie Murphy like?
Eddie's fantastic. He is probably the most brilliant comedian I've worked with, besides Adam Sandler and Chris Farley. No, but he's a very different kind. Probably the most brilliant improv comedian by far. And it's really interesting because I got a chance to work with him, when he was still, at the height of his career. And all of his handlers would tell me how to talk to Eddie, give him direction through the AD. So it was like, well, tell him that the next scene is going to be about ... And then it was walkie-talkie, walkie-talkie, walkie-talkie to somebody I'd never see. I said, this is ridiculous. I'm just going to go up to him, and they go, no, don't. He's the emperor. And I went into his trailer, and I'll never forget, he had the granny head on, the granny makeup, but he was in his regular sweats with no fat suit, and he was just playing video games. He goes, hey, Pete, come on in. I'm like, okay, you want to play? And we just start playing video games, and I just start talking about the scene. And then about half hour later, because the lighting setups were long for that movie, it's like, okay, Pete, we need you back on the set. So I'm going to go. So you cool with what I described? Yeah, I'll see you out there. I went, that was all a bunch of BS, what I've been told. Right. I'm just going to start talking to this guy like a normal human being. And so from then on, we had a great relationship. And he was the first guy on the set, on the lot every day, because it was 6 hours of makeup to put it on.
Oh my.
Then we'd act.
Yeah.
He'd act. Then it would be 2.5 hours of makeup to take it off. Wow. Because they had, to take the glue off.
Yeah.
And so I could never leave the lot knowing that the makeup trailer light was still on. I felt like, I can't leave him here. So I'd go in and I'd just, shoot the breeze and we'd watch TV and joke. And I remember Rick Baker, who's won I think he's retired now, but at that time, 7 Academy Awards, including one for the first Nutty Professor, would yell at me and says, Pete, just stop talking. I can't get the makeup off when you're talking. Make him talk. So I learned to kind of, manage that a little bit. But he is still a patient of my wife's, who's his dentist.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, his wife's one of the best dentists.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's good
Sandler.
to know.
Sandler goes to her.
Yeah.
It's easier to talk about who doesn't go to Linda.
Linda's the best. So sweet.
That's awesome.
What was it like working with Jack Nicholson? How do you direct him? Was that a little bizarre?
It was scary. Scary because
that was anger management, right?
Anger management. Yeah. There's no actor I've ever worked with who can suck the oxygen out of a room like Jack. And I could tell even Sandler was, a little intimidated. We all were intimidated.
Yeah.
And then one day I remember, this was in downtown New York. We were filming, and I walked by an office building because we couldn't go back. The base camp in New York doesn't exist. It's like there were trailers, but they're 16 blocks away. So we just stayed in this office building. And Sandler was laughing. He goes, oh, you are in such trouble. I went, what? He goes, he is so pissed at you. I'm like, what are you talking about? What did I do? And he said, Jack said to him, because I guess I like to, I block a scene. And I said, well, maybe your character comes over here and picks up the coffee and then walks over and opens the window and whatever, based on the script. And supposedly Jack told Adam, I'm one of the world's greatest actors. You think Pete would like to know where I'd like to walk? And I went, oh boy.
Oh,
So, but
that's a
okay.
good impression. I like
Well,
Yeah, it's
everybody
really good.
does. Lorne Michaels and
Yeah.
Jack. But
Yeah.
but so I learned to adjust my style a little
One
bit.
great story. He was so gracious to let me work with him on Get Smart with
Oh, that's so
with,
cool.
with Steve Carell. So I wanted to
So Steve Carell too. Wow.
yeah, Steve Carell. So I wanted to give him a little gift. So I gave Pete before anybody a vintage 1966 Get Smart lunchbox.
Oh, that's
Okay,
really
from the
cool.
TV show. And then Steve Carell got wind of that. He goes, where did you get that? So
You got one
you
for
know,
you have
I
to
got
get
one
for
for
Steve.
Steve Carell, and he was like, "Wow!" And it was really cool. So I went on the set after I worked and did my scene another day, and I saw Pete. It was great. What the thing that I'm thinking of, like, you work with one of my favorites, J-Lo. What was that like?
And in Queens too, which is
In
where
Queens.
I'm from. So
Yeah.
where in
Oh,
Queens did
yeah.
you shoot?
We shot, all over. But she's fantastic. She's
Yeah.
really an excellent actress, actor. Very smart, very intuitive. She reminded me a lot in certain ways of the way we worked with Drew Barrymore.
Oh wow.
Because Drew and I had a really easy relationship where sometimes I would just point up or point down, meaning a little bit more, a little bit less, and she went. Or I'd say a 1, 2, or 3. 1 being the most energy, 3 being the least. And sometimes less is more with acting. I mean, you tell me,
We both.
But and J-Lo was like that too, and I would just say maybe just a, and she did it, and she's it's hard to do to balance comedy and drama, and she was very natural with that, and so we had a great time.
Yeah, no, I laughed, I cried in that
Great
movie.
movie,
I was on
I
the
know.
airplane watching it, so it was like
A lot of people saw that one on an airplane.
Yeah, and I was just like, I can't believe I'm like crying during a J-Lo movie right now. But it was
good.
awesome. It was great. It was really, really great. Now, also, I was reading about you, and it said you won 8 Emmy Awards.
Local in Los Angeles.
What did you win?
They're a
Emmys for?
little bit smaller than the
So
big
that's really cool.
They
That's,
still have wings and a globe, but
Yeah.
my kids don't know the difference.
But they look great
Yeah.
together.
They look great together.
Yeah.
Yes.
what did you do that won Emmys?
So I started my career at Channel 2. And there used to be things on TV. Well, I guess once in a while you might still see Eye on LA.
Yeah.
And there was Eye on LA, and then CBS had 2 on the Town for 10 years. And it was about things to do in LA, people's stories and things like that. And so they tried a comedy version of that on Friday nights called Friday at Sunset. And so my first assignment was, it's a story on the best pizza places in LA. And I said, can I be creative? They went, yeah, whatever. Can I do whatever I want? They go, just get the name of the place spelled right in the address. So I did a black and white takeoff of Citizen Kane. And that was, I guess, unusual in local television, so it won a local Emmy. And then the next one, they said, okay, that worked pretty well. Best pool halls. I went, can I do whatever I want? I went, okay. So I did a takeoff of The Color of Money. And a common theme started to occur in these little local segments that I would do. And I would always hire my then girlfriend to play a prostitute in these little family things, about best pizza. Why would there be a whore in this?
Yeah.
But there was a whore in it. So Linda kept playing a prostitute,
Yeah.
and I kept winning Emmys. So it's like
That's
she was my
amazing.
lucky charm. So yeah.
So
Mustang
before
Ranch and down
before
the
she was a
street.
dentist, she was a
She was a young
actress?
dentist. No, she's a couple years older than me. So, oh my gosh, so when I graduated from USC as an undergrad, she was graduating UCLA as a dentist.
Wow.
So I had 0 chance.
Wow.
But then I got lucky and I just started doing local TV stuff, and
That's awesome.
Did
That's
you
had
always
amazing.
want to be a director? Did
I had no idea. I mean, I thought if I could win one of those little Emmys by the time I was 30,
Yeah,
I was set.
you were set forever.
And I won my first one when I was 24, and I thought, well, now what do I do? So when I got the call from David Zucker to audition to come in and just interview for Naked Gun, I was terrified because I thought, what do you do in a movie interview? I just been telling people where to go for pizza. So I said, do you dare give a note on the script? Do you dare give a suggestion? Is that blasphemous? I didn't know until I had meeting after meeting. They kept calling me back. Now you're going to meet Leslie Nielsen. Now you're going to meet Priscilla. Now you're going to meet O.J. Simpson. Now you're going to meet. I'm like, what else can I say? I was done. But at the time, you know, because the Naked Guns did a lot of parodies, and The Crying Game had just come out.
Yeah.
Very great film, some controversial moments. So I
Yeah.
decided I'm going to take that and I'm going to pitch. How about this? That Anna Nicole Smith's character has a penis. And they went, you've got the job. So
So you're brave.
Yeah,
You're very brave.
I didn't know what else to say.
Did you?
He's
You're very funny. Are you just naturally funny, or did you have to work on that?
He is.
It's, yeah.
Did you go to like